Hello, Hymer active friends. In this video, I'll show how to winterize by blowing out water in the two piping circuits. The first piping circuit is the pumping from the water pump line. The second piping circuit is the city water circuits, and there are 5 steps that I use to blow out all the waters in the lines. The first step is to empty all the tanks. That include the hot water tank, the fresh water tank, and the gray tank. The second step is to use the water pump to pump out all the waters. This is the Hymer active water pump. Step number 3 is to blow out the water in the fresh water line, and then the city water, and finally the toilet. The fourth step is to open a custom drain valve. This is the valve that I installed because that line cannot be pumped out nor drained out. So it has to be, cannot be pumped out or cannot be blown out. So it has to be drained out. And step number 5 is to empty the cassette toilet. And these are the 5 steps that I've been using for the last 3 years. Okay, so first of all, let's open the hot water. And actually I have done this quite a bit, like 80% of the winterization done, so it doesn't take up the time in the video. So what you see is the air pressure already built up in the line. Now is back to normal. So let's assume this is the first step. You open up the hot water line, and then you open the hot water drain valve. Maybe you could hear the drain valve is flowing, and in order for the drain valve to drain, we have to eliminate a vacuum. So that's why we opened this up, so that the air could come in from this side and then drain out to the back, to the bottom of the vehicle. So let's go out to check where the water comes from, or where the water is dripping from. Okay, this is the place where the water should come out. As you can see, there is a water spot there, and since I already drained the hot water tank, so there's nothing dripping out right now. And also this is the gray water. So I already set up the gray water to drain. So this is the gray water, and the fresh water tank also been drained. As you can see, all the water mark coming from here, that's the fresh water tank. So now all the tanks are drained, so we could go back into the vehicle to start step number 2. So before we start step number 2, we need to close off this valve, otherwise the pump would not work, because the pump would just try to pump air out of this hot water tank drain. So we close that, and we also close this valve. Now we turn on the water pump. Okay, so the water pump is on. Let's drain the water in the bathroom faucet first. So let's do the cold water first. Okay. The cold water is done because I did it earlier. And let's do the hot water. Okay, this is the hot water. The hot water is also done because I did it earlier. So I'll close off the valve. And now the kitchen cold water. Okay, nothing come off the kitchen cold water. And let's do the kitchen hot water. Kitchen hot water. Okay, so step number 2, pumping out water is done. Let's close it back off and turn off the pump. Now we have to do step number 3, which is using the air compressor to blow out the water. Okay, I have a quarter cable air compressor. It could go all the way to 150 psi, and it has a 1.5 gallon air tank in it, accumulation tank, and I set the pressure to 30 psi. So this is 30 psi, and now I just have to use the quick disconnect to put in a blowout valve. There's a blowout valve already installed. Okay, now it's connected. So it's blowing air into the water tank, but we don't want the water tank to pump out. We need to do the city water to blow out. I'm sorry, we need to do the city water to blow out. So let's switch to city water. So now city water, and we could turn on the pump. Okay, the pump is on. We'll go back in the vehicle to let the water out now. So let's do the cold water in the bathroom. Okay, the cold water is done. Let's do the hot water. The hot water is also done. Let's shut that off. Let's do the toilet. Okay, the toilet is also done. Now let's do the kitchen sink. There's still some cold water from the kitchen sink to be pumped out because there are 2 pipes underneath this vehicle that feed the cold water, and by blowing out the water in the kitchen, it will get rid of all the water in the cold water pipe underneath this vehicle. Now let's do the hot water. The hot water is also done because I did most of it earlier before I do the video. Okay, I'm going to repeat this one more time to be sure. Hot water. Okay, nothing come out. Cold water. Okay, nothing come out. So the faucet is done. Let's do the flushing one more time. Okay, nothing coming out from the toilet also. So step number 3, blow out all the water is done. So we could turn off the air compressor now. Let me get my flashlight to show you where I installed a custom valve for the pipe that cannot be blown out. So there's a pipe between the water tank and the water pump underneath the chassis that cannot be blown out. So in order to use the compressor procedure without antifreeze, a special custom valve has to be installed. Okay, that valve, that's the valve that I installed, and it's between the water pipe feed line, and that would go to the water pump. And this line is strictly cannot be pumped out or blow out. So now I'm going to open the valve and see if there's any water coming out or not. Okay, there's some water drip out. More water drip out, not a whole lot. Sometime there might be a lot, sometime might not be a lot, but it's better safe than sorry. That's why I installed this valve. So we could leave the valve open for the winter. So I'm going to leave it open for the winter. And the last step is to empty the cassette toilet. And since you all know how to do the cassette toilet, I'm not going to bother with you with the procedures. So this is it. This is how you use a air compressor with a accumulation tank to blow out the water in the line. By the way, this air compressor is nice to be 150 psi. I use it to pump my tire very effectively. So long, bye bye.